How's it going, and welcome to No Fun Allowed's series on Villains Voiced. In today's episode, we're going to take a look at a villain that actually isn't listed in any of the 5th edition books so far. We are taking a look at Shemeshka. Shemeshka is an Arcanoloth, which has been baked into the D&D lore for many years, but the real reason why she has gotten a reprisal in the past few years is because of Chris Perkins' rendition of her in his YouTube series, Dice Camera Action. In this series, Chris Perkins brought this lovable character to life, and my oh my, is she certainly a handful and just a ton of fun to roleplay as. After seeing this lovable Arcanoloth in action, I knew I had to incorporate her in every single one of my campaigns because she is certainly a delight, and mechanically, she can be a lot of fun. But who is this person, and why would you use her? Well, she is a powerful individual who resides in Sigil, and it's here where her network, her cabal of spies, assassins, mercenaries, traders, merchants, all these individuals come together and conglomerate her power and allow her to use the information that she collects all around to her benefit. Well, why would you incorporate her into your adventures? Well, she can be a wealth of information and is a great way to give your players exposition when you don't want to go ahead and feel contrived in doing so. But as we'll learn pretty soon here, everything comes with a cost. Information cannot be bought without something to give. So how do we get your players to meet with this powerful individual who resides on a plane far away? Well, at some point during the course of your adventures, your players are going to stumble across a strange set of keys. These keys are going to be unique, each one being extremely extravagant and all residing on the same key ring. In addition to this, your players will also stumble across a lock. Whether this is just an empty padlock or a lock tied to a specific item, which is unique. It could be the hilt of a sword. It could be a seemingly mundane rock but with a keyhole in it. It could be a ton of things. But once your players get the bright idea to go ahead and shove one of these strange keys into this keyhole, then all of a sudden, the mystical figure will appear before them. And what do they see? They see a humanoid foxkin individual wearing a crown of thorns. And as this powerful looking individual looks down upon them all, she will go ahead and announce herself. How do you do? I am Shemeshka. You may know me as the Marauder, or the King of the Cross Trade. But, my dear little ones, you will know me as your boss. Something you will come to find about me, my dear pupils. I get what I want, and I want quite a lot. Your players are naturally going to go ahead and be curious about this individual, but they'll also be curious about these keys. When your players ask about these keys, she will go ahead and announce, when you put a key into that lock, I shall graciously appear before you. I will answer 3 questions to the best of my abilities. Then, that one key is mine. Your players are obviously going to think to themselves, why does this individual want this key? And at which point she will just go ahead and respond saying, I don't need to tell you. Once your players talk to Shemeshka for a little bit of time, she can go ahead and expound another feature of these keys. Well, as you may very well know, I am nothing if not generous. Instead of asking a question, you could ask me for a favor, and I will go ahead and do this favor for you. But know this, nothing in this multiverse is free. If I do this favor for you, then I will kindly and politely nudge you to do a teensy little favor for me. She is not going to tell them what these favors are until they actually do it, which adds to a certain air of mystery, excitement, and most important of all, danger for your players. This first time they meet Shemeshka, everything is totally free. Mind you, Shemeshka is not going to tell the players anything useful, and she's not going to answer too many questions. She's just going to go ahead and talk to the party, get to know them a little bit better, and see which individuals she likes more, and more importantly, which ones she doesn't like as much. Eventually, she will be called back to Sigil, and she will go ahead and say, Toodaloo, I know I will be seeing you in the future. At which point she will go ahead and teleport out of there, and your players are probably going to be baffled by that whole situation. Now, from then on, your players are going to go ahead and have this ring of keys and this lock, and they can go ahead and ask a question at any time or ask for a favor at any time. Whenever they put any one of these keys into the lock, Shemeshka will appear, and she can go ahead and announce, Oh, you all look like you're having such great fun. How may I assist you? I have been keeping an eye or three on you all. You all should consider another line of work. You picked the worst possible time for me. I was picking out such a lovely outfit for an event I'm going to later. Are you certain that they are Oh, it's you! You interrupted a very important meeting, but I'll gladly put it off for you. Whenever your players ask a question after summoning her, she will go ahead and respond to the best of her ability as long as it's not detrimental toward her. She'll go ahead and answer truthfully, but at the same time, she can go ahead and give super vague answers, and it could be simple one-word answers such as yes or no. So always keep that in mind. If your players go ahead and ask something incredibly stupid like, oh hey, how's it going? That's one of their questions gone. And after any single question is uttered around them, she'll go ahead and say, that's one. If your players ask why she wants these keys, she'll go ahead and simply say, because I want them. That's one question. If your players continue to persist and ask why she wants them, she can go ahead and say, because I want to add them to my collection. That's another question. She is never going to tell your players why she wants these keys. She will go ahead and give super vague answers, and she's going to go ahead and try and avoid the subject. But even more so, if she makes these questions vague and the players are just wasting all of their keys trying to get the answers out of her, she's getting what she wants. She wants these keys. But maybe your players will go ahead and meet one of the many agents of Shemeshka, or maybe even a rival of Shemeshka's, and they can go ahead and tell your players why she wants these keys. And then your players will be locked into the conundrum of, ooh, should we be giving these keys to this Arcanoloth? She's very helpful, but at the same time, she could be up to something nefarious. If your players use these keys to try and get some favors out of Shemeshka, she will go ahead and try and do them to the best of her ability. She has a pretty large network of people under her services, and she herself is a pretty powerful spellcaster, so she certainly could help out in a pinch. She could teleport people around. She could set up certain meetings with individuals. She could go ahead and just simply identify something in front of their way. Mind you, she will never stay in a fight. If your players have the audacity to try and summon Shemeshka in the middle of a fight, she will either not respond at all, or she could whisper something cryptic and say, oh, sorry, I'm busy. Once your players have requested a service from Shemeshka, she is going to go ahead and demand that they willingly fail their next saving throw, and she is going to go ahead and cast Gesh upon the player. And now under the effect of the Gesh spell, she is going to go ahead and demand something. And mind you, this can be so many different things, and it entirely depends on your campaign, how you want to thread her services into your campaign. A perfect example being if you are running a Tomb of Annihilation campaign, she could go ahead and request, I want Mr. Fox's spectacles. Go and retrieve them for me, please. If you're running Rime of the Frost Maiden, she can go ahead and say, I want a powerful scroll, something stronger than any of you could conjure. If you're running Descent into Avernus, she could go ahead and say, a few soul coins could go a long way down here. But mind you, what she asked for could be anything, and it could be absolutely bonkers. It could tie your players to the main quest itself, or it could completely derail them, and they are forced to do this. This is entirely your prerogative and how you want to push the narrative onto your players. But maybe your players have already asked for a few favors, and they're already linked to several locations all around whatever map you are playing on. She could go ahead and say, I could use a person of your stature and sigil. After all these troubles are wrapped up, you will work for me. Let's say for around, 3 years. Oh, you'll love it up in sigil. There's excitement every day. And this can be a great way for your players to go ahead and weigh the moral consequences of having to work for this evil entity. And mind you, this can totally be ramped up. Maybe you go ahead and say that they have to work for her for maybe 10 years, 20 years. Who knows? And not only are they now forced to work under this individual, they are going to be far away from home. If this PC gets sent all the way to Sigil, they're going to be in a strange new place in a strange new land with presumably no one from their previous life. And that can be just an absolute ton of fun. That can definitely lead up to future campaign ideas. But this is just a good way for your players to weigh the consequences of their actions, and as a way to have the player doing something after the campaign. Once your players put in all of the keys and have the last one put into Shemeshka's hand, then Shemeshka will finally announce, "Ah, yes! Thank you, thank you, thank you! I cannot wait to see what I can do with this." But what is this? Well, honestly, that's entirely up to you. Why would this Arcanoloth go out of her way to get these keys from these players? Who knows? These things could be the key to the cosmos. These keys could open up a vault to untold wealth, knowledge, and power. Maybe these keys shackle Shemeshka's true form. Maybe she's a goddess who has been restrained and shackled into her form, and now she is finally free. There is so many possibilities, and the sky's the limit with this one. I love dragging Shemeshka into my campaigns because she is just so entertaining. I love doing the voice, I love role-playing as her, and I love the moral consequences that your players have to weigh whenever they're interacting with this individual. So go ahead and tell me, are you going to add Shemeshka to any of your campaigns? And if so, what are her motivations? Is she a goddess in disguise? Is she trying to just gain more wealth and knowledge? Or is she simply just going along and egging more people into her services because she sees that your players are full of potential and she wants to roll them into her cabal? The possibilities you can have with Shemeshka are just absolutely limitless, and they can be avenues to far, far greater adventures out in the multiverse, allowing your players to go to Sigil and to the skies beyond. This beautiful art of Shemeshka was rendered by Jess. I'm going to have a link to their YouTube down below, and check them out. The art is just absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love it. So go ahead and tell me all about your adventures or possible misadventures with Shemeshka, because I want to hear it. I introduce her into practically every single one of my campaigns now because she's just a staple and I love her. And I definitely want to hear y'all's input on this character because I love hearing amazing stories come from this individual. But that is going to do it for me. Thank you all for watching and have a good time.